Foreverland. An introduction to the Creationship. To see a world in a grain of sand, and a heaven in a wildflower. Hold infinity in the palm of your hand, and eternity in an hour. William Blake. Infinity. It's a wondrously pregnant concept planted in the fertile soil of the human imagination, full of the vast possibilities of our wildest dreams. The unending fields of possibility and the unyielding peaks of potential are intimidating enough that many truth seekers soon avert their gaze, choosing to muse upon less menacing landscapes that are easier to scale, define, and confine. But those who brave the journey across the lands of the infinite are overcome by a joyful exuberance, not only by those who have personally endured natural rites of passage. Infinite awareness is exclusively entrusted to God, an awareness that includes but transcends our own localized awareness. But even though the totality of infinite awareness is reserved for the highest perceiver, it is through our personal relationship with this ambient aristocrat, joyful jester, this grandiose grandmaster, that we must become a close friend to all that is. No matter what we call this Godhead, the experience of its presence is the same for everyone. Terence McKenna, author and lecturer, says of this experience, Nature loves courage. You make the commitment and nature will respond to the commitment by removing impossible obstacles. Dream the impossible dream and the world will not grind you under. It will lift you up. This is the trick. This is what all these teachers and philosophers who really counted, who really touched the alchemical gold, this is what they understood. This is the shamanic dance in the waterfall. This is how magic is done. By hurling yourself into the abyss and discovering it's a feather bed. If you are reading this now, you are likely a pioneer, with the large stores of courage of someone who has faced the dragon and won liberation. The kind of person who has the tenacity to be the change you want to see in the world. Someone other people consult for guidance. You are the kind of person who is willing to look into anything it takes to give a great life. If any of these statements are true about you, then you also have large stores of joy that run deep in your heart, and you are willing to show it whenever the opportunity arises. This kind of charismatic character is rarely tempered. Although a certain level of focused downtime is often an essential tool, developing this kind of character requires a relatively high baseline stage of awareness, and high-level stages of awareness come at the price of personal investment. This investment is a labour of love involving the trials and tribulations of life's ups and downs, allowing our true potential to break through the shell of our cultural programming. We find the courage to live our convictions by repeatedly surmounting the opposition we face in our daily lives. If you have been exposed to the life-changing effects of great joy, then you also know the woe of sorrow, loss and fear. After all, these are the unavoidable experiences we must endure, however briefly, at certain stages of development. This is all woven into the duality of human experience. Without sorrow, the heights of joy we are capable of are hindered. They often feel pale or are even overlooked altogether. And yet without joy, our lives feel deflated, full of worthless strings of events that only fill our time rather than enrich our lives. This is simply the nature of polarity. This paradox is often ignored. People would rather avoid the pangs of sorrow altogether. And why wouldn't we? Pain is not a fun experience. Sorrow is an uninvited guest at life's party. But without the contrast of sorrow in our experiences, joy has nothing to cast itself upon and loses its luminosity. As you will see, there is a way to experience life outside of this dualistic pendulum of experience. We can dip our feet into the waters of the infinite and be forever changed by its timeless current. The wellspring of wisdom, love, power, and bliss is flowing all around you right now. It's all just a matter of perspective. The universe is intelligently conscious, unconditionally caring, and personally interactive. These are imagined truths. Where, after all, is the evidence? Because there are many indications that our localized subjective experience can include such reality. We are one global body, and we need to act as one. We need enough humility to put ourselves permanently in a state of empathy towards others, human or otherwise. What if you could have a dialogue with the cosmos in such a way as to co-create reality? The same way you might order your favorite pizza. What if you had the capacity to behaviorally program your reality through conscious participation to co-create a wonderful life? What if we were in a constant biofeedback loop with the planet and had the ability to rapidly evolve our behavioral, mental and physical, relational and spiritual capacities? What if heaven were a state of consciousness that, once initiated, allowed the co-creative collaboration of humanity to manifest utopia here on Earth? What if our interaction with other creatures formed a network of wisdom more powerful than any supercomputer we could imagine? What if we were truly the co-creators of our reality? First, you must understand the objective truth. Then you can act in ways that allow your personal subjective experience to be great. Our responsibility is simple. Get into alignment with nature's rules as they apply to human activity. We must act individually and collectively in a way that honors our highest objective capacities. The depth of trifold assumption that the universe is intelligently conscious, unconditionally caring, and personally interactive is as perplexing as the universe itself. Unraveling the mysteries of a conscious and participatory universe is the work of the ages, not a single generation. Through your own contemplation, however, you will become aware of just how powerful this one key ingredient in life really is. It opens up the doors to a reality so vast and wondrous that you have to experience it for yourself to believe it. I was uncomfortable with this notion once too. It challenges most of everything our society is based on. Nonetheless, it holds true. Our connection to the universe is as deeply personal an experience as any can be. It is the intimate relationship we have with creation itself. It is our creationship with all of life that infuses every ounce of our being with the embrace of the Godhead. Much has been learned throughout history about the truth of our existence. There are discoveries happening every day that bend or even break the mold of traditional thinking. Used as tools for navigating reality, these discoveries could help launch humanity into an era of co-creative sovereignty over our world. This is a very exciting time to be alive, but there is much work to be done if we are to transcend the imbalances of our current age. The potentially catastrophic circumstances of our current world broadcast a clarion call to action. But like that annoying experience we've all had where something is right in front of us but we just can't see it until someone points it out, we have been overlooking some of the most obvious and empowering truths about our world. Remember, in the vast infinity of life, all is perfect, whole and complete, And so are you. I know you deeply because, at our core, we are all essentially the same. We all have the same core needs for love, life, and freedom. We all want to enjoy our lives in one way or another. The way we go about it is the only real difference between one person and another. Many of us live lives of quiet desperation, just hoping that we may find strength to continue our journey through the challenges we meet along our paths. They are here to bring us to the edge of our reality so we can finally experience the bliss of life in its fullness, in all of our moments, once and for all. In the world of form, the heights of joy follow close upon the pangs of dismay as the pendulum of duality swings gracefully back and forth, traversing its perennial path through time. This is simply how it works in the world of dualistic causality, as scientists like to call it. You may recognize this experience by another name. It's known in most spiritual circles as karma. Whatever we call it, the good news is that the negative aspects of this experience are more or less a side effect of our perspective. Rooted in our modern-day illusory living, karma is only in space-time and causality. Your real self resides non-locally, and it is entirely within the range of human possibilities to experience reality from this place of awareness. Being aware of our non-local selfhood while still experiencing causality and karma is not as exotic an experience as you may first suspect. It's an experience as natural as walking. What prevents us collectively experiencing this state of awareness is really quite simple. Much of what we do in our modern world is in almost complete disconnect from any semblance of our nature. It's the outward expression of our fluctuating collective experience of emotions, thoughts, expectations, and even unconscious physiological functions related to the body, mind, and spirit. Stubborn as an old donkey, we continually act out our personal, family, communal, national, and global stories, whether they have any basis in truth or not. It can be hard to face the truth of existence because we are psychologically naked, standing in its presence. With practice, it is possible to include this previously unwanted part of our reality in a much larger, all-encompassing context that transcends the notion of suffering altogether. Duality is a state of awareness that keeps us in a mindset of separation, up and down, black and white, ones and zeros. Once we understand the role duality is playing, it allows us to go much deeper than simply resolving disagreements between friends or halting wars of passion between opposing forces. We can use it to navigate the waters of infinite diversity with the relative ease for the benefit of all. You have the capacity to unveil your inner being, and when you begin to lift the curtain of your worldly illusions, you are exposed to a truly wondrous, mysterious persona, the integrated self. It is a self of vast creative power and potential, capable of stewarding entire universes, once you understand what that really means.